They say you can't fight the HOA, but that morning, when their drone crashed into my pressure washer, I realized some battles come buzzing straight to your doorstep. A quadcopter dropped out of the sunrise like a nosy hummingbird, hovered over my deck and zipped right into the stream of my pressure washer. It spun like a drunken ballerina, clipped the corner of my stainless steel grill, and nosedived into my hydrangeas with a pathetic electronic whine. I stood there, hose still running, watching the little machine twitch among the flowers like a dying robotic insect. 10 minutes later, a woman in a bright pink visor stormed up my driveway, trailed by two clipboard-carrying lackeys who looked like nervous ducklings. She planted herself at the edge of my property line and announced, with the confidence of someone who had never been told no, "Congratulations. You just shot down HOA security property." I lowered my pressure washer and said calmly, "Congratulations, you just filmed my bathroom skylight without permission. My name is Julian Park, 42 years old. I work from home as a software consultant, and I live in Cedar Hollow, a place where every mailbox matches. The sunsets smell like fertilizer and compliance, and stepping out of line comes with a fine." The queen of our suburban kingdom was Denise Crowley, HOA president, visor enthusiast, and self-appointed guardian of uniformity. She had fined me twice before, once for a non-compliant wind chime that allegedly tinkled in an unapproved key, and once for a basil planter that violated some obscure clause about front yard agriculture. But this, drone surveillance, was a whole new level of crazy. Denise called it airborne compliance monitoring. The HOA newsletter bragged about anonymized flyovers to protect property values. In reality, it was a peeping Tom with propellers. The drone lingered over back fences, hovered above pools, even peeked into second-story windows like a nosy UFO. Then came the photos, zoomed-in surveillance shots in my mailbox. My recycling bin, lid slightly ajar, circled in red. Violation, lid ajar, fine pending. Another, me barefoot watering tomatoes at 6 a.m. Unapproved vegetation. Front yard agriculture. I hadn't realized being barefoot was a monitored offense. Rumors spread fast. Dogs photographed without permits. Sheds flagged for illicit shelving. A spreadsheet called Nuisance Tracker cataloging residents' every move, taking out trash too late, parking at the wrong angle, existing suspiciously. We were living in a surveillance state run by a woman in a visor. Then came the knock. A certified letter. Notice of destruction of HOA property. Denise demanded $1,200 for hostile engagement with an unmanned compliance craft. Her exact words on my porch were, "We'll see you in court, Mr. Park." I smiled and replied, "Bring your flight logs," I lawyered up. Marcus Chen, property rights and privacy expert. Calm, sharp, and lethal. During discovery, Denise stalled, evaded, lost records. But then, luck. The drone vendor's cloud storage was accidentally public. My neighbor Paula found it while searching her emails and sent me the link. Inside were hundreds of drone clips, families at dinner, kids in pools, couples on patios, faces fully visible, file names like Lot 42 after 10 p.m., trash lid violation, unapproved paint color, and emails between Denise and the drone operator, increase altitude, they're noticing. Focus on properties that voted against me. I handed it all to Marcus. He handed it to City Code Enforcement. They handed it to the FAA. Now we had a full-blown investigation. Court day came. Denise strutted in like a queen defending her throne, visor gleaming. But the judge? He looked angry. Marcus played a short reel of the surveillance footage. The courtroom went silent. Children, families, neighbors spied on. Denise stammered, "Your Honor," these were taken from public vantage points. The FAA rep interrupted, "Ma'am, did your operator hold a Part 107 license for commercial drone operations?" Silence. Code Enforcement followed up. "Also, that Cedar Hollow Police Liaison your signs mention doesn't exist," the judge leaned forward. Did you obtain consent forms from residents? Her lawyer sighed. No, Your Honor. The hammer came down hard. The judge ruled my pressure washer interception lawful. The HOA surveillance program unlawful. He ordered all footage deleted and sanctioned the HOA for privacy violations and impersonating law enforcement. Denise's lawsuit backfired spectacularly. She had to pay for my grill, my hydrangeas, my attorney's fees, and a hefty invasion of privacy fine that made her visibly flinch. Then the FAA dropped their own penalty. The drone was confiscated and later auctioned off to the middle school robotics club for $27 and a tray of brownies. They renamed it Boundaries. It now flies only in the gym, surrounded by safety cones. Denise? Removed from the HOA board, banned from serving on any HOA for 7 years. Court-ordered community service. Install big new signs at every neighborhood entrance. No surveillance. Resident privacy respected. She had to spell jurisdiction correctly under the supervision of a very patient code officer. 2 weeks later, I got a letter from the HOA. Balance, $0. Coupon, 1 waived wind chime violation. I framed it. Now it hangs above my desk, a daily reminder that sometimes, even in Cedar Hollow, the little guy wins, and that when the HOA comes for you from the sky, you aim the pressure washer just right.